She said she want her bright nigga that's gon' smack that ass and beat it up. I catch her up right now, how about on feet, nigga? I don't give a fuck. We beat your block. Wait, beat like a 808, come through them whips, fuck your tissue up. Them choppers sound like helicopters, don't.
What's good, y'all? It's your boy JB Effects, and today I'm back with another tutorial. I'm gonna be teaching you guys how to edit faster and how to edit more efficiently in Premiere Pro. These are just 3 methods on how to speed up your editing and how to get your work back to the client a lot faster than you're getting it back now. Without further ado, let's get into the video. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, smash that like button down below. Let me know what you guys want to see. I'll be having my Element 3D Masterclass uploaded. I'm gonna be going through pretty much what I use and how to make your footage look real and how to composite and do all that, because nobody else is doing it on YouTube, and I'm gonna give it to you guys for free. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that and subscribe. So number one, to get your Premiere Pro to be running faster, to do more edits, to do quicker edits, you're gonna want to upgrade your machine. So if you're using a lower end PC, maybe a $500 computer, you're gonna be a lot less efficient. You're not gonna be able to get as much work out because it's gonna be limiting you to what the machine can do. Like a lot of these effects, they're pretty heavy on your CPU and GPU, and that's just gonna slow your workflow down because you're gonna be waiting for the computer to do stuff. Probably gonna get discouraged and fatigued, and that's gonna suck. So number one, you're gonna want to do that. And once you do upgrade your computer, what I recommend is upgrading your GPU first. After you upgrade your GPU, I would upgrade my RAM and then the CPU. Once you upgrade those, you can just go over to preferences, go down to memory, and what you're gonna want to do is look at your installed RAM. I have 64 gigabytes of installed RAM. Turn down your RAM reserved for other applications. If you want to run as fast as possible, you can turn this as low as you want. So that's just leaving 6 gigabytes and it's using 58 gigabytes of RAM for all the Adobe product. And then you're gonna want to change this to performance. And once you do that, I'll say you're gonna be pretty optimized. Your machine should run a little bit faster, and that's gonna help you be able to work a little bit quicker and not have to get mad at your computer and break it. Another thing I'd recommend is changing your autosave every 5 or 10 minutes. Because that's just gonna save you from having to go back and redo whatever you had to do, and you're gonna save yourself from that hassle. So that's my first method. That's why I recommend first upgrading your machine. I have a GeForce RTX 3080 and I have a 5950X 16 core processor with 64 gigabytes of RAM. Probably gonna end up upgrading that to 128 and a 3090 whenever I can. Whenever the newer CPUs come out, I'm most likely gonna be upgrading my CPU as well. Might just build a whole new machine. But that's number one. And then along with that, Premiere Pro goes pretty much based off of what kind of memory you have. And a lot of people don't know this. They'll be editing off of, what's those things called? The ones with the orange, I think. Yeah, it's the hard drives with the orange on the outside. Or they're editing off of WD Blacks. Those aren't, like, those hard drives, they're not good for editing. They're gonna be pretty slow. They're good for backups and all that, but as far as the editing goes, that's gonna slow you down. So if you look at this footage, let me mute this. The second I press the space bar, it plays. And that's because I have SSDs. Now SSDs is gonna speed up your workflow by far. Trust me. Having an SSD, the writing speed matters. So when you have an SSD, your writing speed is going to be higher up there in the gigabytes per second. So the faster that the footage can transfer to the program and play, the faster you'll be able to work and the easier it'll be to edit. When you have a slower hard drive, it's when you press play, it won't be instant. It'll take a second. This has a color grade on it and all that. So it's not just regular footage, but it is 4K and it's playing pretty instant. But with the hard drives, it's just gonna slow you down and it's gonna slow down your workflow. Your writing speed, whenever you transfer files, is gonna take a while, which is why they're good for backups. Because normally I put all my files on an SSD and then back it up. Normally I put my files on an SSD as well as a hard drive, and then I have a backup hard drive on top of that. So I have my editing SSD, so I get the fastest write times. Whenever I load my project up, I'll have the fastest write times, and then I'll edit it, and then I'll delete it, and then that's done. And then whenever I do my next project, I'll just change that over to the SSD. It'll speed me up, and then I'll have that to edit. And then once I get done editing, delete it. I have it double backed up, and while I'm working on it, I have it triple backed up, so I'm not going to lose any footage. And hopefully, nothing happens where all 3 of my hard drives crash at one time. That would suck. But yeah, that's number one. Your equipment, your hardware, SSDs, GPU, CPU, all that. Now that's gonna cost money, so you're gonna wanna, put that work in to get all that. So let's get into the second one. The second one is gonna be shortcuts. Shortcuts is gonna help you a whole lot in video editing. A lot of people don't know about shortcuts, and it's just using your keyboard pretty much to do what you wanna do with the mouse, which you'd have to take time doing. The seconds that it takes to come over here and click the razor tool and then click that and then go back and then click the selection tool, that adds up. And when you're editing, when you're 5-10 years in, all those seconds matter. Once you're doing professional work and you have deadlines, all those seconds matter. So what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna learn your shortcuts and be able to use those proficiently. So a lot of people don't know about shortcuts and that you can add things in using the source monitor. So say you go to your assembly tab and you open up some footage and you want to add it into your project. So what you could do, instead of dragging it every single time, you can just select what you want to add in. What you can do is you can add footage straight from the assembly tab or the source monitor. Pretty much anywhere you can select it in a different tab and you can add it right into your project. It's gonna go wherever these are, these source patching for inserts. So you don't want to move those if you don't want those to be in, or you don't want it to be on the same track, and you just want to press period and then it'll put that footage in here. So where I use this a lot is when I'm editing short films and I just need a certain part. So I just needed that, and then I'll go in here, I want it on this track, press period, and now it's there. If you don't want the sound or the audio track in, you can just deselect that and then it will only add your video track. And you can do the in and out points with I and then O, and that will speed you up tremendously. So in just a quick take of things, I select this, I go over here, I watch it, I want that part, O, come over here, press period, and now that's in there just that quick. It took me, I could probably do that in less than 10 seconds, less than 15 seconds. And just learning the shortcuts is gonna help you guys out. Control K for cut, that one's an easy one too. Instead of having to use the cut tool, having the shortcut for that is gonna help you as well. Sometimes I don't wanna use the cut tool, I wanna do it a little bit faster. So you just select it and then press Control K, and now you have it cut. And then you can stay in your selection tool and do whatever you need to do after that without having to switch back and forth. Another good one that I use a lot is Control M. Control M is gonna be your export screen, and that's just gonna give you a quick export screen. You can just go there. I use YouTube 4K Ultra HD for the majority of my videos, unless it's a higher end, then I'm using MOV file. This is also a quick export. This might be the fastest. This is what I normally use to send snippets and stuff, and I'll get you there in a lot less clicks than this right here, and then having to wait. Just gotta learn the shortcut. I'm gonna be adding a shortcut sheet down in the description so you guys can study up and learn up on those shortcuts, and that will make your workflow a whole lot faster, and you'll be a lot more efficient in editing videos. And when you can get the client their product faster, they're gonna wanna buy some more, trust me. So my third thing today, and this is going to be the final one, is going to be presets. So a lot of people don't make presets, I don't know why, or they buy presets. But the thing about it, if you make an effect, add your adjustment layer, and then you want to make a little effect, you want it to change white. So I'm going to use levels, and this can go with any effect that you're doing in Premiere Pro, and you add over here into the effect controls. So I'm just gonna animate this. I'm not gonna make no real crazy effect, but I just wanted to flash white towards the end of the footage, and boom, I have that. And if your Premiere Pro glitches when you press spacebar, most likely whenever you change, this is a weird glitch Premiere Pro has. Whenever you change something over here on the keyframes, it'll do this weird glitch thing where it's not going to play, or it's going to play fast and only show you a couple frames. So to stop that, either what you can, or to combat that and make that not happen, whenever that happens, you can just double click an eye on anything that is visible at the moment. So on this track, this wouldn't do it. It would be this track because you can see that, and this track because this is the adjustment layer that's on top of everything. So boom. now I have my effect. Now you're probably gonna say, hey JB, you can just copy and paste this. Yeah, you could, or you can add this to any video, because this is a simple effect. You can add this to any video by making a preset. So to make a preset, you just select pretty much anything that you changed over here in the effect controls, right click, save preset, and then just name it something. End levels. And boom, now I have the end levels preset. And you can literally do this with anything. You could do this with Sapphire plugins. You could do this with Red Giant plugins. Just drag in the end levels, and now it's on your footage. And how I did that, just a couple shortcuts. You know, right here, this is where I cut my clip. Shift and then the left arrow and then another arrow. The shift adds 5 frames and the arrow is by itself is just 1 frame. I normally do 6 frames and then I add my ending effect or beginning effect, because I just feel like 1 or 2 frames is too fast. So there we have it. Just made a preset, and you can literally do this with any effect that you add over here in the effect controls. If you do that, you'll have a look. And once you have this effect panel filled up with presets that you've made, you know, you can just edit pretty fast. You can just drag and drop, and then you don't have to use the same effects on every single video. You can use different effects. Say you have 100 and you just mess around and use like 20 effects. You're editing beast. You're editing faster than everybody else because you have a solid stock of presets. You're not using the same presets everybody else is using. You have your own preset, and that's going to make you get a little bit more clientele, and then that's going to make your clientele know what your videos look like, because now you have custom presets and you're not just every other videographer out here. So that's going to be it for this video. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you want to see next, and I'll be going over that. See y'all next video.
Yeah, I think it's fucked up how they forgot about me. I got bitches hitting on my phone like you forgot about me. I got killers straight from out that 6, yeah, they'll kill about me. One of my exes got a